This is why, if you ever need an excuse to get away with anything in a show, just set up the fact that you are two grifter clowns who are on an insane amount of mushrooms, and then you can get away with anything.
Welcome to We Can't Print This.
It's a podcast telling the story you don't know behind the story you do know.
And you should know.
And you should know.
And you will definitely know, because after this podcast, you will go out and read that story. I'm Fiona McCann.
And I am Eden Dawn. Every week, we interview a writer of some kind or another about the stories behind their stories. And we have a lot of fun doing it.
We do. And especially this week, because we have the funnest, inimitable Anthony Hudson in the studio. Anthony, from the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde Siletz, is an artist and a writer, also known as the glorious and very beloved to us drag clown Carla Rossi. Together, they host and program Queer Horror at the Hollywood Theatre in town, which is, I think, the only LGBTQ horror film and performance series in the whole entire country of the United States of America. So that's a pretty big deal. But Anthony also co-hosts the queer feminist horror podcast, Gaylords of Darkness.
Gaylords of Darkness.
Oh, that was good.
Thank you.
Together with writer Stacey Ponder, and is currently adapting their award-winning solo show, Looking for Tiger Lily, into a book, and co-wrote and co-stars, and this is the best bit, I saved the best to last, in the upcoming hotly anticipated Gloop, which opens at Pica in Portland later this year.
And we talk a lot about Gloop, which is based on who you think it's based on.
Mm-hmm. You know already.
You know already. And we talk a lot about collaboration. And also, we should mention we love Carla, who does so much good work in Portland and really around the country, touring internationally with their shows. And I should say that we talk about Anthony and Carla interchangeably, both names for the same person. And also, we believe strongly drag queens make your life better. So listen up, Tennessee, Texas, Arkansas, everybody else who is on this ridiculous witch hunt. Drag queens make your life better. And in fact, can I quickly list for you some things that drag queens have done that make my life better?
Yes, you can.
One. Poison Waters taught me how to hide my drink before I go on stage to make sure no one could ever put anything into it. 2, taught me how to do a cut crease on my eyeshadow. 3, taught me it's okay to be loud and big and funny and to wear whatever I want. I will say that drag queens have made my life better every step of the way, and I was thrilled to have Carla come here today.
Well, Poison Waters taught me that I can be very easily upstaged.
That's the other thing, is it is a humbling experience to go on stage with a drag queen where you're like, I think I'm funny. I think I'm good. No.
I thought girl. My hair was big.
No.
It's not big. Mm-mm. I hotly agree. I don't know if it's a hot agreement. I agree wholeheartedly. Hot. It's hot. It's sparkling. It is full of glitter and joy. And I also want to point out that, and part of the reason that Carla joined us is because we really also strongly support that drag queens are artists and they're part of this community. And we're so lucky to have them. And y'all are going to realize that when you go and see Gloop.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
And I love that Gloop is about Carla collaborating with a drag bestie, Pepper.
Hi, bestie.
Hi, bestie. And, collaborating, like finding your person that you want to make creative stuff with is so fulfilling. And I happen to know that as I look longingly into your deep blue eyes.
She's looking into my eyes and I'm like, it me.
Well, I missed you because you went to Egypt for 2 weeks and you left me behind and I'm sad. And I'm so happy you're back.
Yeah, because as I think Carla would testify in terms of Pepper, but I will testify in terms of Eden. Eden makes me make better work. And she makes it a hell of a lot more fun.
Yeah, you do the same for me.
So I strongly encourage people who find the artistic life to be a little solitary and don't like that. Some people do. Good for you. Mm-hmm. We see you. We appreciate you. We respect your introversion. But that is not all of us.
And it is good for us because we have collaborated professionally for some time. And obviously, this is a $1 podcast now. $1 billion. But we did collaborate together on a magazine package one time, and we won a national award at basically the Oscars version for magazines. They gave us a whole ass award for us working together.
And that's when we dropped the mic.
And that's when we dropped the mic and we pieced out and we were like, we're done. And
It
then
don't
we
get
went
any
on
better.
to make a $1 billion podcast.
Yeah. So here we are, testament to the beauty that comes from collaboration, the joy, the effervescence, the glitter, the sequins.
Find somebody that you want to do cool work with that lifts you up, makes you feel better, that you want to get excited about every day, but that also understands the importance of spreadsheets, responsibilities, and hitting their deadlines. And if you can have both of those things, what a magic relationship. You are stuck with me in your life forever.
Yeah, but you know what, Eden? If I ever got stuck on a light fixture, yours is the name I'd be calling out.
That's good. I thought you were going to say, you know what, Eden, I'm moving. And I'm not telling you where.
No, Egypt. No. If my dress ever snagged, you'd be the name I'd call out, and I know you'd come get me.
I would come get you.
So with that,
Let's, as they say, stop, collaborate, and listen. Anthony and I were raised in the same county in Oregon, and we made it out.
We're the survivors. We're the stragglers that were able to crawl out from the primordial slime of the place that shall not be named.
Of the place that shall not be named. Which was just a hard place if you're people like us who were seeking a level of fabulousness that didn't exist there then. Maybe it does now. I don't know.
There was a coffee shop.
There was the one coffee shop.
There was that one.
God, I love that one coffee shop. And which was near the one record store.
The one record store kind of across the street.
So great.
you had a record store?
This is where she always out-Irishes me because I got a little, I'm Irish enough to have the plight of my people, but Fiona's always like, hold up.
There we go.
Hold up.
You were lucky. We didn't have coffee stores and record shops where I grew up. Well, that sounds fun. Glad you made it out and all the way here.
Thank you.
Anthony, today we are going to talk a little bit about some of the story behind where this show grew from, right? And I'm trying to remember where we started because there were so many bananas anecdotes that I recall. I know there was vomit. Did we get to that straight away? Where does it begin?
These are the words on my tombstone. I know there was vomit. Where do we begin?
Where do we begin?
What an interesting word cloud we've begun for the day.
Who threw up where? And why?
Which show are we talking about, first of all?
So this is Gloop, right?
Okay.
We're working on Gloop. This is how Gloop came to be.
Okay, and the one-liner about Gloop.
The one-liner about Gloop is it's psychedelic assisted satire from Portland's premier avant-garde drag duo, Carla Rossi and Pepper Pepper.
Oh, snap!
Shout out to Pepper.
Love her. Basically, we're doing like a white woman's wellness workshop. It's very much a Goop inspired show, but where we are facilitating
so much.
It's seriously like it's so fun to do, but it is exhausting because we have to essentially pretend that we have macrodosed instead of microdosed, like we're supposed to teach in the workshop. We've macrodosed, and now we're going to lead you on a workshop of how to better yourselves while we don't know what the hell is happening. So it's just like a bonkers psychedelic drag gauntlet from hell.
100% relatable.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, you're high as hell and your legs turn into a chicken's and good times.
Next thing you know, you're hosting a Gloop. You can say. These things happen. So this is about sort of the origin story of that show, right?
Yeah.
And that began when you were on tour separately with something else. Is that right?
Yeah, Pepper. So Queer Horror at the Hollywood, like we have a touring version of that show. And Pepper and I took it on the road. It was our first time back on the road, like since the pandemic hit. So this was in November of 2021. And then, you know, we did what everybody does, which was we went and we visited the Winchester Mystery House and then learned about how, you know,
I love that place.
It's amazing. It turns out that there weren't ghosts. It turns out she was actually just like a brilliant, maybe lesbian architect and philanthropist. So
And that
Didn't
she
know
had like
anything
her
about
whole
that.
eavesdrop room.
Yeah.
That was amazing. I
Oh,
was like,
yeah.
man, I love gossip. I want a whole eavesdrop room.
Right? Who everyone needs an
This is
eavesdrop
the
room.
eavesdrop room.
This
Do you
is-
know what the Winchester Mystery House is, Fiona?
No, but I was pretending that I did.
I had a
that
feeling.
It was good nodding.
Let me be. This is my
Totally.
cultural attaché moment. So the Winchester Mystery House is this like old farmhouse down outside of San Jose,
Yep.
correct? And essentially, it's the woman whose husband invented the Winchester rifle, and they became so wildly, inconceivably wealthy. They were the Bezos of their era that they built this farmhouse. And the story goes that after he died, she mentally broke because of the weight of the world and the ghosts that were on her of all the people that were murdered by the gun, and that she kept building to appease her sadness.
Yeah, and like keep the ghosts from reaching her, right? Because the house was like she just kept building
were
and building and
encroaching on
building and
her.
building.
Wait, I have a friend who wrote a song about this. It's all coming back to me. When this airs in Ireland, Paul Noonan's song Mrs. Winchester was about this woman.
Oh, see?
There we go.
So this house has famously like staircases that lead to nowhere, and there's just these things that don't make sense
Yeah.
because she just kept building. But part of it was that she would have like seances and things, and there was a whole area she built where the acoustics led her to perfectly be able to eavesdrop over her staff.
Yeah, and she would throw these massive lavish parties and then just like try to get the dirt on everybody. So I'm like, obviously covert lesbian architect, brilliant queen, not maybe afraid of ghosts, but that was
her cover story, which
it was
is
the cover story.
a fair cover story.
It worked.
It flew. Everyone was like, yeah, clearly it must
And
be that.
Also, how many times throughout history have we been like, oh, lesbian, maybe she's just afraid of ghosts or a witch? I feel
Exactly.
like that's like a thing.
We always just say, no, she's just crazy. We never confront the realities. She's a brilliant queen and architect. So we did that. We went and we had like this transformative journey through the Winchester Mystery House, just screaming about how she was a lesbian, and the rest of the tour did not enjoy any of that. And then we went to go.
Lucky tour goers. That's what I say.
That's what I told them as we were forcibly removed. and then we were, since we had driven down, we decided to like luxuriate our way up the California coast instead of just heading straight home.
I wish everyone could see your luxuriate hand
This
motion.
is the international hand symbol of luxuriation.
I can't wait till you do redwoods. I can't wait to see that hand motion.
That one's too hot for TV. So we decided to stop in this town called Fort Bragg, California, where my friend Pepper has two other friends that had just started an art studio. And they said, oh yeah, you could come crash with us at our little art studio. So we think, okay, great. So we drive to Fort Bragg, California. We meet up with them, and the art studio that they are yet to open, that they have just like signed the lease on, that we're staying in, is literally a recently decommissioned Curves gym.
Oh,
What?
Yeah, like where the ladies go to work out, right? And it was fascinating, just this vast empty space, tables for like art stuff everywhere, but all unused.
The ghosts in that space.
yeah,
That's the
thing.
that space has ghosts. All of us who
Yes.
are like being given our calorie counters
Yes,
and
yes,
internalized sexism.
Absolutely, all coming to light. Like she wanders the halls at night with holding a
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke and a healthy choice, those awful chocolate cookies from 1993.
And
Oh,
this
I
was
know
going to be
them.
their art studio. That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, which has just made it all the better. Where it's like, rich with history, Curves Gym. So they put us in this little like studio. We're staying in what is formerly the Curves Gym office, but for some reason there's a giant tree in there, just like
Okay.
stationed in there. So we're sleeping in this room. It's like sub-zero that night. We have a
Wait,
space
there's a
heater.
tree inside.
I don't know.
building.
Yeah, I don't know why.
To appear
'Cause
folksy.
Oh,
to
it's not
appear
because women are
folksy.
supposed to climb that.
Yeah, that's the rock wall.
You can make it onto the third branch without breaking it. You, when it's achievement unlocked, is that what's going on with
Yes,
the tree?
probably.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
It's what they
sure.
could afford in place of the rock wall, and so they just said, "Just have at it, sister." Oh wow! Yeah.
This place is storied. I'll just
Story.
say.
That's it.
And no offense to our wonderful friends, to Cynthia, who made this happen. I love that she took a Curves gem and she saw, the venture
Me
capitalist
too.
in her said, I'm going to create an art studio for the people of Fort Bragg, California. Like, thank God.
Yeah.
Art Scene Studio is their name. And so we were staying in this little, like, weird tree room we're sleeping on an air mattress because Pepper had packed an air mattress because road trip. And
Gotta love Pepper.
thank you so much.
Here's the air mattress that I brought.
What doesn't she have? It's like Mary
Everything.
Poppins.
She has the Mary Poppins bag.
Yeah, she has an air mattress. She has a bag of dildos. She had like just everything.
Just the essentials.
Absolutely. It actually always makes going through TSA with her really fun too, because she always gets singled out by the TSA, and then they pull out like the giant machine gun dildo machine and like all this stuff.
Yeah, they just see these random shapes going through the scanner. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
It's
Granted,
an air mattress. It's fine.
only half of them are our props, but the others just belong to her. But God bless her. So we're working on that. We're hanging out, staying with their friends, and they say, okay, well, how about, would you be interested in helping do a soft opening for our art scene studio? And we're like, no, we were very tired. We just want to relax. And then they say, well, are you sure? And we think like, okay, they're letting us stay here in the room with the tree. We get to hang out with the ghosts with the healthy choice cookies. Like we should be, we should give back.
You have to honor that.
How can we give back?
Is this one night?
Community? Yeah.
This happens all in one
This all
night?
happens in one night.
Okay. It's a lot.
So what I had not paid attention to before that night, before the show, because we figured we're just going to figure out what we're going to do for the show in that morning. And we're like, we have a lot of different numbers we've done. We can just throw these all together.
Pull something out of the bag. It'll be
Exactly.
grand.
Yeah. Go
Get
grab
that
the Mary Poppins. Do
Yes.
the thing.
Exactly.
So when Pepper and I had first got there, okay, we were still waiting for the friends to meet up with us. So this is important backstory. We were waiting for the friends to meet up with us. And we had just grabbed a bunch of food that like we had pulled out of the car that had been traveling with us during the drive.
Okay.
Among these things, there were like, those little prosciutto flutes? I call them ham flutes.
With the cheese inside? Or yes. Oh, I know them well. Eden does not know them at all.
No, sorry, but vegetarian blind spot.
Well, this is why I am now a vegetarian.
Ham flute is not what I would.
What are you going to do to those?
Ham flute means something else in
Prosciutto
my
flutes.
world.
Ham flute there is a very specific thing reserved for that terminology, but I like to call it a ham flute. So we're hanging out and we're like very hungry. We're still waiting for our friends to show up and we still need to plan the gig. And I just think, you know what, Pepper, how bad could it be? It's only been in the car for like 13 hours.
No, baby.
I was so hungry.
Oh, no.
I was so hungry. And granted, I had never experienced like the horrors of what happens when you eat food that's been sitting out too long before.
Yeah.
Because I grew up in Oregon. Like, well, I kind of almost revealed where we're from-ish. But,
We'll air horn it.
Thank you. Our friends, like in small town growing up life, you have the sleepovers. The mom makes like, all the food and then it just sits out all night. You just eat it all night because you're a teenager and like you don't get like foodborne illness at that point in your life.
Yeah, and you
right?
eat it off the floor.
Yeah.
Especially
that was
pizza,
weeks old.
right?
Pizza.
You get it at nighttime. You have the sleepover, or in the morning you look at what's in the box and you eat it. Of course, we've all done it.
But what you were about to eat was like specifically the ingredients of pizza, basically. So you would think cheese and a meaty thing.
And a meaty thing, a ham flute.
Yeah, but was there sun involved? If there's sun involved, I feel like that changes it.
Well,
Science.
Yeah, it's what we call Eden science, where I just don't have the facts to back it up, but I have the feelings. I'm doing my own research.
I love this. There's a crack team of scientists working on these hypotheses.
On ham flutes right now.
On ham flutes. And so I reach and I just like, I'm just so hungry. I'm so hungry. And I reach and I grab it because I was like, these are good. And I just put the thing in my mouth. I start eating the thing. I don't look at the thing. I don't think about what I'm doing.
How does it taste, can I ask?
It tasted a little gamey.
Little gamey.
A little gamey. But there was still the cheese to kind of cancel it out. Because, cheese, if you leave
Give
that
it some
out,
balance.
it gets kind of sharper. So maybe that kind of distracted me from the thing. But then I said, I don't know, this tastes kind of funny. So Pepper reaches over and pulls one out and looks at it and then shows it to me and goes, Carla, look. It was purple. The ham flute had turned purple.
That's not right.
No.
It's not right. And I just think,
In no instances of whatever you think a ham flute is, whatever
Purple's
you think
never
a
a
ham
good-
flute is, if it's purple, it's not a good idea,
Purple's
babe.
never a good color.
I'm very upset. So I just think, oh, well, that was kind of gross. And then Pepper takes a bite, a very small bite, and goes, oh, no. We chuck them in the trash, and then we think nothing of it. We go out to a giant Italian dinner with our friends.
Ooh, just loaded some stuff on that. Oh.
So after the purple ham and now a couple oysters.
This is a layering nightmare.
It's not good. I have a lot of anxiety right now.
Let me tell
I'm
you.
actually sweating a little bit.
The lesbian doctor at urgent care was she didn't understand either how this happened, but she was very wonderful. So I have jumped ahead. So I've slurping oysters, which I don't do ever, but I do to impress Pepper. I don't know why. We don't need to impress each other. I'm not fancy.
Let's not do that ever again.
So this
Okay,
could
I'm
be an
with you on
after
this.
school special moment right now where we just let everybody know if they're really your friend, you can say no to the oysters.
You can say no to
You
the
can
oyster.
say no. And if they don't like you anymore, they were never your friend to begin with.
Thank you, because imagine the alternative option where you're Helen Hunt throwing yourself out of the window, like high on bad oysters and ham flutes.
Yeah.
No one needs that.
Could be the same.
Let me be the statistic to warn you. So
we've the layer of the purple ham flutes, and then we have a layer of oysters.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyone
now
feeling
you're
queasy out there?
you're back at the curve space.
Plenty of alcohol back at the curve space. I'm like, okay, let's quickly like bust out this show. So we sit down and we're like, okay, here's a bunch of different drag numbers we have. Here's a bunch of different things. I've got this costume. You've got this wig. We already have an air mattress. Let's use the air mattress. So we figure out, okay, well, Pepper, what number do you have that can play as long as it takes to inflate the air mattress? And then we discover, Pepper has one of the tracks from the Four Seasons by Vivaldi. I love calling it a track because that's not how that was written.
One of the hot
That
tracks
Vivaldi dropped.
Vivaldi dropped his hot track. Have you heard it? It's called Ham Flutes Across America. So we go to bed, and then at like 3 a.m, I just kind of like an eye pops open. I'm like, ooh wee, and it just starts to increase. It starts to increase. It turns into like the scene from Alien where, they're just casually sitting around eating lunch.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the thing just explodes out of a stomach.
Yes.
I am just violently ill, just like heaving. So I'm like fully convinced I'm going to die. And I'm calling for Pepper, who sits up, is not a morning person. And this is now 4 a.m. I've been dealing with this by myself for an hour. I scream for Pepper as much as I can. Pepper immediately begins to think like, because this is also like a year into the pandemic. And so we don't know,
Oh, no.
is this COVID? We just toured and did a show for the first time ever in 2 years. Like we don't know what is happening.
No, you all have COVID.
Do we all have COVID?
Do we need an old priest and a young priest?
Yes,
Like,
a beam of light comes down and illuminates the front door.
it's a casual exorcism. Like what are we doing here?
Yeah, and then on top of it, like it's 2 degrees in this room. There's a space heater that isn't working. We're on an air mattress that's like cold and deflating. There is a tree in the
They're
room.
always deflating.
And the ghosts of the curves.
the ghosts of the
ladies.
curves gym ladies.
Do you know what? I think they'd be good in a pinch, though. I'm
Do you
just
think-
saying.
I think so, too.
I think they would have held your hair back.
I
think
felt
so,
like
too.
they were over you judging for
Oh no!
And that's why they didn't come to help. That's why. It's like this whole back and forth. Pepper ends up like just spending like literally a best friend you could ever have spends like an hour massaging my abdomen, just like trying to help me. Yeah, it's such an angel.
That's honestly kudos to Pepper.
I wouldn't do that. And then I sleep like maybe another 6 hours and everything is fine. I wake up and everything is great. And I'm like, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. So then we think, okay, let's take that food poisoning and let's put that in the show. So we have to explain, why are we here doing
I'm covering my eyes.
why are we here doing a seminar? Because we decided, okay, we're gonna play this best of show. We're gonna pitch this as like a new show where we're leading a seminar. And Pepper and I was really obsessed with The Vow, the Nexium TV show documentary.
Yes.
So we start bringing in stuff from The Vow and start bringing in like some self-help stuff. Pepper grew up in like not Sedona, but Pepper grew up in like Northern California, like New Age kind of culture. And, I was like the weird kid that loved like, the crappy witch books that you would find at the other bookstore across from the coffee shop
I know.
by the record shop.
I know.
Yeah. So like I had this background of being really into like teenage paganism and be like, I'm a druid, mom, because I watched Miss of Avalon. And so we figured out like
It's the craft. We can't understate what the craft did to us all.
Firuza Balk put on those.
Come on.
The
We
black
are the
lipstick.
weirdos, mister.
We are the weirdos.
We
all
carried it with our life.
And these are my gifts is ham flutes. So we incorporate all of this into the show. We are these two grifters who are just off the bus, and we're going to lead you through a seminar on how to attain your ultimate best self and your true self. Only we're too high, and now we're about to get violently ill. And we thought, okay, so why are our characters here? And this is in the show today. Still, is why are the characters here? Like they just wander into the space and then just start doing the thing without even noticing the audience. And so we thought, okay, so they're on a tour bus headed to Sedona, and like land of the Gwyneths. They head to Sedona, and then they feed their bus driver a ham flute, and then he gets violently ill. So the show opens with us discovering him dead. And so it writes itself.
It
writes itself. This shit writes itself.
The
man.
audience didn't know that half of it was, legitimate. Like, we are grifters, and we are obsessed with New Age, and I am actively dying.
How did the audience react? Tell us about the first reaction to Glue.
Oh, they loved it.
Yes,
They absolutely
did?
loved it.
Okay.
They loved it, and I think that's what kept me moving through the pain and through, adrenaline is a hell of a drug.
Oh, yeah.
really
and we're
is.
show people.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
it's like, you just do it. As soon as sometimes I feel like a trained monkey where I'm like, I'm tired, I'm this. And, they push you out on stage to do something and you just start tap dancing,
Here
baby.
she is, boys! Right? It's exactly that.
Where's my light? Where's my light?
Where's my camera? So this is just like such a me thing that I thought it was totally normal and fine and that I would be fine. And then a week later, then that's when I was like, Jason, that's my partner. I was like, I think I'm dying. I go into urgent care. I meet like the greatest lesbian doctor of all time who literally is like, she's like, well, we think it's your kidneys or we think it's your liver. We don't know which. And then she runs me through every test, puts me in this terrifying MRI machine. And she goes, it's none of those things. What have you been eating? And then I explain to her.
Then the litany starts.
And then she just goes,
what have I not been eating? Is really the question.
well, besides the sushi burrito and the ham flutes and the pizza.
Did I mention the oysters?
And the oysters.
And the milkshake.
And the milkshake and the profuse amount of alcohol and edibles that I threw on top
Yeah.
of that. Besides all of that, I've just been eating normally. So
Yeah.
she slapped me, and then she gave me like a GI numbing solution that was like just a weird paste I had to drink.
Oh, I've had it. The
I want that.
lidocaine.
Yeah.
The lidocaine
Yeah.
cocktail. Oh, yeah,
the
baby.
lidocaine cocktail. Disgusting, but I loved it.
Yeah, it feels
I
good.
want some of that. Can we get
You
them to sponsor
don't.
the
It's
podcast?
disgusting.
It numbs you from your teeth all the way down.
It's the first time you become
Numbs your
very
very
aware.
soul.
Yeah.
You become aware of where your esophagus is,
Yeah.
and then isn't.
Yeah, and then you're like,
It's like an invisibility
Esoteric.
thing.
yeah, I think I just saw my root chakra for a second. It's so weird.
Mrs. Winchester would go in for this. I'm
She
telling you.
would. She built a special room for that
Special
too.
room for that.
So it was wild. It was wild, and then it finally resolved itself. And then after that, I became a vegetarian, and now I feel healthy and ethically superior. So I love my life.
I mean, welcome to my boat.
Yeah.
Been on it for a long time.
It's why we do it, right? Is to be better than other people.
But I want to go back to Gloop because
The process.
I do want to know
Yes, and
because
that's
you
actually a
go
great
from
question.
here to now you've been touring around
Yeah.
with it. And what is it? What does it say about our world that just two white women as grifters? Everyone's like, oh yeah, I know who that is. Which is now I'm afraid people just look at Fiona and I like that. Like, what are
We're
these
Gloop right
couple
here.
of white women grifters here? I mean, TBH, I don't know how anybody
Welcome to our
trusts us.
seminar. Henry.
Listen, I'm half white, so I can claim it. And as a drag performer, I think like Pepper and I always just like love to go off this grifter model in any show we do, and this is like the one that really took because it's like you're drag queens. We feel like grifters in the art world, right? Like
Yeah.
it took long enough to convince people that we were artists that now that people actually do look at us as artists, it's like weird, and we just feel like imposter syndrome and con artists. So just embrace it. So in the process of like writing the show, to answer your question, basically like it started out with like, okay, let's just have a rough score of like, this is what needs to happen. At some point you need to get on this airbed and inflate it. And then at some point, I need to throw this bag of Cheetos everywhere. And then it has since turned into like we have incorporated a real script now. And so every time we do the show, like when we did it at Portland Center Stage, it was entirely improvised, which was so fun because it was a 2-hour show. And my assistant actually came up to me and said, they had not worked on the show, and they came up to me and said, "Oh my God, that was so great. And you and Pepper like just nailed that script. Like your lines back and forth. It was incredible." And I was like, there was no script. And so I thought that was a wonderful compliment. Since then, we have begun scripting parts of the show. So there's still like sections that we know, like we don't know what exactly happens in it, like the ending. We still don't know what the hell the ending for the show is. We know we need to tie the audience back into it. We need to have a part where we sell to them. What is the sale and what is the ask? But up till that point, the rest of it has just kind of been determined through either scripting or just figuring it out as we go. And every time we do it, the show continues to change and transform. And so like this last time when we did the show, I packed some chicken leg tights because my partner sent me a picture on Instagram. I thought they were funny. And I said, this is the one Chinese product I will order off of Instagram.
Wait, what's a chicken leg tight?
They're literally tights
That
socks.
look like chicken legs.
Yeah, and they're black. And then on the front, in the middle, in the center, there's a really thin, long, like orange chicken leg. So when you put them on, it looks like you are a void with chicken legs in the middle.
Yeah.
I did not. I mean, I don't know what I was imagining.
Instagram is not targeting you correctly, is what we learned right now.
Overalls.
Yeah.
It's all coveralls.
She just gets Wild Thing ads and buys them all, so we're good to go.
Coveralls all day long.
Yeah.
But
Coveralls are great.
but the chicken leg socks, I kind of want them now.
Honestly, you have to get them. I've since discovered, because in the show, like the show gets really messy, and so I destroyed my last pair, and so I was able to easily find a million Chinese retailers that make them. So I highly recommend chicken leg tights.
So is there sometimes where you have like a rat-a-tat in a show and then you walk away and you're like, that was really good. Like, we write this bit down and try to replicate it.
Absolutely.
So I like the idea of there being like an outline with chunks that might have a script for like seconds.
Yes.
Like here's seconds of a script and then just like a big void and then maybe a few other
But you
seconds.
know where you have to get to.
Yes, we tell, and then like it's fun with the tech people being like, okay, listen, we have a script. I know. Here's the first 20 minutes. After that, we're going to need you to watch. We're going to almost kiss 3 times. And then on the 3rd time, that's when you have to hit the audio cue. And then watching their brains explode as they try to navigate this.
But when are those 3 times?
Exactly.
We can't tell you.
And then when we include a 15-minute sequence of just us laughing hysterically at each other. Like sometimes the tech person might just go ahead and just hit the cue because they want to move the show along, and sometimes that's actually very kind of them to do. But it's so fun, like this process of discovering the show as we go, like every single place that we do it. So the chicken leg tights, I just threw them on, and then the audience could not stop laughing. I realized that I don't even have to lip sync when I'm wearing chicken leg tights. I just have to do a little chicken dance.
Oh my, this is a slippery slope into prop comedy.
It's now I am Carrot Top.
You are. This is how it happens.
Pepper has the Mary Poppins bag, and I have the
And you're
Carrot
Carrot
Top
Top.
bag. And this is just becoming my gig now. I'm
You're going to have a
it.
Las Vegas residency before you know
Thank you
it.
so much.
I know.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I'll join in the likes of Rita Rudner and Erica Jane, all the greats.
Get yourself a Paula Poundstone blazer.
Oh,
ASAP. You would look great in that, actually.
She's my all-time queen. I love Paula Poundstone so much.
Iconic.
I absolutely, my whole life's goal is to replicate all of those blazers and
Did I read Rita Redner's book when I was 12?
Yes,
I
you
did. What does that say about me? I still remember.
I mean, it sounds funny.
Yeah.
What can I tell you?
Oh, I might still have a copy. I'll look. I'll see if I still have my copy.
Please
my
uncover
Rita
this and
Redner.
find it.
I'll tag you.
Well, but so do you envisage a time when you'll be like, that show is now all scripted because we nailed down every little bit, or will it never get to that because it has to have some looseness in it?
I think it's always going to change. Like, even with this most recent tour, like this is the closest to a full script that we ever had, where literally there are pages and pages and pages of written dialogue that we have learned and that we rehearse and that we, enact in front of an audience. But even still, like, those little discoveries that happen, then we think, okay, now we need to add in this part of the show. Now we need to add this part. So the whole idea with it, even when we first talked about it after the initial performance, the night of 1 million food poisonings, we thought like this could be a thing that we could do. And the whole idea is it's a dare, it's a game. And each time it's going to be different. And I just think as a performer, like theater, you know, I'm obsessed with this idea of like, why is theater live if it's so rehearsed and
Or
so
static, yeah.
Yeah, where it's like, you know, you go or you sit through like a tech rehearsal for a show, and it's like that's the time everyone just wants to die. Because it's like, okay, stop, reset, we're going to check the lights, and like everything is cue to cue to cue to cue to cue to cue to cue. And so I just, like, as a live performer, and particularly like for Pepper and I as two queens that really love to connect with an audience, like you want to find those moments and let them happen on their own versus
And
like
feel how the energy is
Yeah.
like, oh, you know, this is an audience that's going to make me go this way. or-
yeah.
I do love that moment in performance art where it feels like you're in on it. As an audience member, we were like, I feel like they just did that for me. And now
Yes.
we have formed a unit together.
Yes.
You know, you feel like I'm part of the team now. And that is such a special thing that you don't have as much as I love film and stuff. It's a very different feeling where
Yes.
you're like, this was just for me.
But I love film, obviously, and like, but that's the thing is like, film is also super manipulative. It's like this is so choreographed, so rehearsed. We need this music to come in, and we need the people when she says the line and the music spikes. People are gonna feel a feeling, and we can do that in theater, or we can let it organically try to happen. And so I just love that aspect of Gloop is that it's a roller coaster obstacle course that we put ourselves through, and we get to just kind of have these moments of discovery that continue to evolve.
The double dare of performance art.
Yeah, absolutely.
Climb
Plenty
through
of
the
slime.
slime.
Yeah.
Is it, I mean, it sounds amazing and also a little bit exhausting, honestly, because you have to like write the work every
Oh, yeah.
single time.
Yeah.
Are you ever like, oh my God, why didn't we just write it all down? Then I could just like go out and perform and that'll be that.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many times. I mean, that was like why we sat down and actually created the full script for the last version that we did. Was we just were so tired,
Yeah.
and we it would be so much easier to just like get the lines in our bodies and just worry about that versus like inventing it in the moment.
Yeah.
But the power of the curves.
But like as a kid, you know, I was the one that like my mom would turn on the stove and get something and then it would turn bright orange, and then I'm the kid that like just looks at it and wants to put my hand on it.
Yeah.
And
It's enticing.
It's just it's the ham flute. I knew that's been
The
sitting out for
purple
13
ham?
hours, but I'm gonna eat it. It's just don't put anything of bold or saturated color near me with like any question of time duration because I'll see it as a challenge.
What a specific thing. We'll have to put that in your writer.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I have a question for you. There was an incident you told me about involving, I think, a light fixture.
A light fixture.
light fix-
Oh, I can't tell that story. So
Oh,
this
you
is on
can. Oh, you can.
So, okay, so every time we do this show, something insane happens. So last time we did this show, or not the last time, but the last time we did this in Portland, at Portland Center Stage, there's this part where Pepper is supposed to have this giant entrance. Like, we have had this huge fight, just like we had in real life. We have this huge
About
fight.
Post-its?
About Post-it. It's Post-its and mustard. We have this huge fight, and then Pepper storms off, and then I'm crying, you are my only friend, and then I try to sell people a product, and then I storm off. And then there's just silence. And Pepper's supposed to enter. Just silence.
Where's Pepper gone?
Yeah.
Dove into the bag, never to be seen again.
It flew off. And the tech crew just knows, like, okay, don't start the track until she appears at the top of the set. No appearance. And then I'm like, where is she? I'm on the other side of the stage. Like, where the hell is she? And then I just hear, Carla. The audience is like, what's happening? I thought they were fighting. Carla, I need help.
Oh my God.
I come back out, I look at her and say, hold on 1 minute. And I run backstage. Pepper has a crocheted dress that she wears in the show when she appears in like her Act 2 look. And so she's supposed to appear singing Rose's Turn from Gypsy, the Patti LuPone version, the ultimate version, right? So Pepper does not do that because she, in her knitted crocheted red, basically she's wearing like a fishing net.
And
The
caught
death
herself.
trap.
And she got caught on a lighting fixture backstage.
Oh my God.
And she didn't know how to get off of it without breaking the lighting fixture. So I literally had
We're
to
breaking
go.
the crochet.
Breaking the crochet, which
Even
is
worse.
So
Who
I had to
cares
go
about
and
the
like
lighting fixture?
finally try to pick this thing off, which it had like knotted itself around the light fixture.
it.
You get
And
your
the audience-
crochet hook, you're in the...
Yes. Oh, I am ready to go. Portland half lesbian, ready to go.
Hello.
Got it all happening, and then the audience is just sitting there, like, what the hell are they doing?
Broke the
They're
fourth
gone.
wall.
Why
but
are they gone?
Why are they gone? But once again, This is why, if you ever need an excuse to get away with anything in a show, just set up the fact that you are two grifter clowns who are on an insane amount of mushrooms, and then you can get away with anything. So any mistakes we make.
That is a great note.
Yeah.
That is a great note. Thank you for coming on our podcast where we are two grifter clowns who are so high that we cannot be held accountable for anything. It does feel freeing.
Mushrooms. It's very freeing.
I think
It's
seems
nice to feel
great.
seen.
Just disappear, get caught in a light fixture, it'll be fine.
All right. This is my serious wrap up. I don't know why I always try and get so serious at the end so that everyone knows.
Just can't.
That was very RuPaul silence.
All right. Bring back my girls. Thank you.
Well done.
Was that a casual segue? Did I do it? Thank you to Anthony and Carla for joining us. You can read more about all of their upcoming shenanigans at thecarlarossi.com. Follow Anthony on Instagram at thecarlarossi. And that's it from We Can't Print This for today. See more info about our episodes at wecan'tprintthis.com. Follow us on socials. And if you feel like supporting us, who are just a couple of grifter independent gals, you can find us over on Patreon at We Can't Print This as well.
And thank you to our producer, Miranda Schaefer, and to Dave Depper for our music. This podcast was recorded at the Writer's Block in Portland. And the biggest of thanks to our third work wife, Rachel Ritchie, for her little tennis outfit.
She looks so cute today.
She really did. That was a good outfit.
If you are a writer with a great behind the story, write to us at wecan'tprintthis@gmail.com because we love email.
We sure love you. Thank you so much, Anthony, for coming in. That was a hoot.
Thank you,
That was a hoot.
Thanks for having me and all of my diseases and illnesses.
I love it. I'll take it.
All of my diseases.
Your diseases are our diseases.
And everybody, just
Community.
watch it with your ham flutes. Be careful with your ham flutes out there.
Just throw it out.
Just throw out a ham flute.
Oh, a purple one particularly. Dear God.
Dear God.
You must be starving now, Anthony, are you?
You know
You
what's
haven't eaten in a full hour.